Selling lies and buying time, killing people next in line. Lower classes, social slime, they don't matter. Genocide, sick from water, sick from air. Making money, they don't care. Caesar shit, force of air. Fuck them back, it's only for they war. They shoot, they kill, they massacre, rape. They burn the kids, no one makes countries. Lie to your face, fight and die. Cause God forgive. Selling lies and buying time, killing people next in line. Lower classes, social slime, they don't matter. Genocide, sick from water, sick from air. Making money, they don't care. See the shit, force of bear. Fuck them back, that's only fair. They bomb, they shoot, they kill, they massacre, rape. They burn the kids, no one leaves countries. Lie to your face, fight and die, cause God forgives. Yeah. Coming back around again.
There, I don't know why we lost the connection. Are we back live? Should be. Anyways, if I'm still not live, let me know. What is going on here? Why? There we are. Okay, we're back. I don't know what happened there. We lost the connection for a second. Sorry about that. I didn't do it. No. Today I was trying to get this stuff with the Canadian Revenue Agency straightened out, and I called the Canadian Revenue Agency and had a chat with them. And the person I was supposed to be talking to isn't around till 19th to give me another number. Can't get a hold of it, so I phoned the Ministry of Finance, federal, because the Canadian Revenue Agency is underneath the Ministry of Finance. But and I don't care what country you're living in, the same garbage is going on. You see, the CRA, the Canadian Revenue Agency, well, it says it's the Canadian Revenue Agency, and it's under the office of the Minister of Finance. Nobody in the Minister of Finance can tell the CRA what to do. So this is another case, just like the police department, where the police police the police. The police are legislated through an act. The CRA is legislated through an act. And they're all of these agencies are under a ministry. But they're arm's length to the ministry, meaning the ministry that they're under can't tell these outfits what to do. Okay? The ministry in charge of the police can't phone up the police commissioner and say, get your ass in my office. I'm having all kinds of complaints going on here. Can't do it. Just like the CRA, you know, when they lean the I love saying this, the abstract concept known as a property. When I'm talking, you know, I said, well, what's the deal here, right? Okay, here is the deal. I registered a sole proprietorship way back in the early 90s, and then decided not to do anything with it. So forgot all about it. Years later, I get a call from this Canadian Revenue Agency telling me I owe them a bunch of money, and I'm going, what for? Well, HST and GST, which would be tax on sales. But I said the business didn't do any business. So where are you coming up with these crazy numbers? Well, we just guesstimated it. So let me get this straight. Now, you just, years go by, and then all of a sudden, my name pops up somewhere, and then you just pick a number out of the air or out of your ass or somewhere, and you say, this looks like a good number. This is what we'll tag them with. So I phoned the ministry because that's who the CAR is under. And when I phoned the Ministry of Finance, I get an answer from this O Canada, Service Canada. And so I'm talking to them for a while. Then I said, I want to talk to somebody in the Ministry of Finance. And they were asking me a bunch of dumbass questions and stuff. And, you know, I said, you're really not, you're not Canada, are you? Okay, you're Service Canada, but you're not Canada. You don't get your paycheck from Canada, do you? Okay, you're a contractor. Okay? So your contract, you're working for a contractor because your paycheck comes from that contractor, not from the government of Canada. And she's going, well, I don't really want to discuss that. Well, of course you don't. But I've been through this with the same nonsense Service Ontario, and that's a contractor. And you're a contractor, or you're working for a contractor. So you pick up the phone and say, it was something like, oh, Canada, a welcome, oh, Canada, or something, and then you say, Service Canada. Now, you imply and you give the impression that the person who made the call, because the call when you call the minister's office or the ministry's office, and that's the number for the ministry's office, and when somebody on the other end of the phone picks up the phone, the person making the phone call has this implied impression that they're actually talking to the government, when in fact they're not. You're talking to a contractor. So, do you want to tell me who the contractor is? Not really, no. I'm not obliged, or do I think I should give that information? But you give people the impression that you're somehow a government agency or something that's attached to the government. In fact, you're not. That's deception, and that's fraud. Well, I really don't want to talk about that. Of course you don't. So then she finally gives me a phone number, and she says, well, here's a phone number. Department of Finance gives me the phone number, and she says, you can phone there and leave a message. Did I say I want to leave anybody a message? I want to talk to somebody. Well, that's the best number we can get. Wait a minute here. Okay? I'm trying to get a hold of the Ministry of Finance, and you give me a phone number that nobody picks up on the other end? We got a huge problem here. Now, anybody that's ever tried to deal with the government knows exactly what I'm talking about, okay? So finally, I went rooting around, and I found a list of Minister of Finance numbers. They were inside numbers. And so make a call. Make the first call. It's like talking to a box of rocks. We go through the same stuff. I go through with these people all the time, that Canada Revenue Agency is realistically not part of the government. It's like a contractor, legislated, and under the ministry of, but the minister's office can't touch them. So while they're theoretically under the minister's office, or they're noted as being under the minister's office, nobody in the minister's office can tell them what to do. So that's a deception, because people have this idea that because they're underneath the minister's office, the ministry is in charge of them. They're not. They're arm's length. So, I said, he said, well, you'll have to appeal it. Why would I be appealing something that's just ludicrous? I said, I love your business, by the way, because I'm going to start one. I'm going to start the same business you guys are running. The phone's ringing. Can the show hang on a second? Hello? Bruce? Can I call you back? I'm just doing my show right now. Everybody, this is my brother-in-law, Bruce. Nice guy. If he ever needs some brick or stone work done, he's the man to call. That's my commercial for the day. I'll talk to you later. Okay, bye-bye. Sorry about that. Super good guy. Where the hell was I here? Yeah, so I told the first guy I was talking to the Ministry of Finance. I says, I'm going to start up a business just like what you guys got. I'm going to start one up just like CRR, and I'm arm's length from you guys already. So I'm just going to send bills out all over the place, and I'm just going to pick numbers out of the air, and I'll send bills out. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, here's a bill for $12,000. Mr. and Mrs. Zuckerman, there's a bill for $36,000. Please pay ASAP, or we'll have to charge you a lot of interest. And if you don't pay us, we're going to put a lien on your abstract concept known as a property. And then if you ever go to sell it, we got you by the nuts. And there ain't a damn thing you can do about it. And they'll phone me up and go, who the hell are you? Oh, I'm just a businessman. Don't worry about it. Well, I got this ridiculous bill. Well, it's not really ridiculous. Well, what's it for? Does it matter? Does it matter what it's for? Well, why do I owe you this much money? Because I decided. Well, this is nuts. Well, you could appeal it, but nobody's listening. I'll send you over to our appeal office, okay? You can go over there and appeal it. And if you don't like what they're telling you over there, we also have a complaints office. You can go over there. Waste some more time. You see? So actually I was having a lot of fun with the first guy, and he had to run. So the last guy I called was I want a medieval castle. That's a good idea. So last, the last guy I called, um, he is Nicholas Blowen. And his title, which I've never seen in any government agency or government, this isn't a government agency, this is the Ministry of Finance, federal. And Nicholas is, his title is chief. And I'm not exactly sure what chief is about. You know, we see administrator and policy advisors and all this kind of stuff, and deputy ministers and ministers and whatnot, but I've never seen anybody called a chief before. But me and Nicholas had a really nice chat, went on for quite a while, and, you know, he told me about the complaints thing and the appeal thing and the fact that there's nothing they could do about it. And I said, do not see the problem. Okay. You see, if the CRA, was legitimate, it would be in-house because you, the chief, are in charge of business taxes in the ministry. So I have a business tax problem that needs to get dealt with, but you can't deal with it even though you're the chief. Now, you see, I don't like to deal like this, okay? I'm kind of a straight dealer here. When we got a problem, we get the damn thing fixed, you see? But you're making it so it can't get fixed easily. You see, if it was legitimate, the Canadian revenue would be inside of your offices. So when I call you up and you say, well, who's your contact? I will say Bill or whoever. And I will tell you the problem, that they picked a number out of the air, which makes no sense to anybody. It's a lot not legitimate. So you see, Nicholas, you could get on the phone and you could phone Bill down in his apartment and say, hey, Bill, I got Ron on the phone here and there seems to be a problem. We need to get it straightened out. Now, see, that would be responsible government. And if you go back in history, it says that we were given responsible government. Now, that would be a responsible government, but what you've done is constructed an irresponsible government, so that nobody in any ministry is in touch with anything going on, or you can't touch what's going on. That's totally irresponsible government. You tell us you got open government when it's a closed government. So, you know, we went through all of this stuff, and we went through some history in that, and, you know, the fact that we're still in the feudal system, and we went through this fact that, you know, Nicholas, think about this, you know, we're the richest country per capita on the planet, bar none. And you tell me this government's working when we have people who can't keep a roof over their head, people who are going to food banks, people are going to use clothing stores or looking for donations for winter coats and that. You call this a responsible government? He didn't much care for that. And then we went on, and you know that the Attorney General's office in Ontario agrees that we never left the feudal system, and we are just we are a rebranded Hudson's Bay Company. We're a company. And the Queen is the head of the company. So, you know, this is where we're at. And, you know, he said, well, yeah, but I still can't help you with your problem. Well, that's the problem, right? You're telling me you don't have the capacity you don't have the capacity to do anything. And that's ridiculous. So we are living in an era that has to change. And I don't care what country you're in, you know. It's the same thing in the United States. The President of the United States is the king. In Obama's case, maybe the Queen. I don't know. Depends what day it is. Maybe he's transgendered. I don't know. Maybe he's going out with Bruce Jenner. I don't know. Who knows? But anyways, we have to change things. Because you see, here, everything that goes through the legislature has to be signed by Queen in place. Everything that goes through the legislature in the United States has to be signed by the president. So that's your king, right? That's your king. And what I'm going to do here is I want to put this particular dictionary in the chat, and I wish everybody in the chat would pick it up. And it's a Webster's dictionary, but this is really good because it's just a search engine, and you can drop whatever you want in there, and that's how you learn things. Really do learn things, because we have to know the language, and the language is so wrong to use that, whenever you're looking for something, or you want to know what something means, use that dictionary or one similar. But that one just seems really good because it gives you all the synonyms, and you can plug whatever you want. And on the side bar, it gives you all the words and basically sayings that go along with it. So it works really good. Now, if I could remember. That ain't it. I was going through some words today, and I don't know if I can find them. But it has to do... I found this the other day. Let me go there, then, if I can find it. And that's the I think it's the... Oh, just let me buzz up through all these things and see if I can find it. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Where is that? Just bear with me a second here. I got so many things open. But anyways, what it boils down to, when I'm going through these dictionaries, what it boils down to is that the Queen is your king, and the Pope is the King of Kings, and all of the rest of kings and queens and that are they're all gods. Okay, they're all classed as gods, and I have a bit of a problem with that, because when they class themselves as gods, that means that they are immune to everything. And we have to do everything they say, just like I was talking about before with the Pope. Is that what the hell did I do with that? Maybe it's here. So whatever they say, they're saying that it came from God, because they're all playing agents of God. And that's basically how they got us tangled up here. Okay, is through this nonsense. Only they're not gods, but they've made us subject to them, and whatever they say goes. Doesn't matter how ridiculous the rule or the regulation they come up with. It doesn't matter, because just like the Pope, whatever the Pope says is God speaking. And basically, this goes right down to your legislature, because these gods are above the legislature. The Pope and the Queens and the Kings and all that kind of stuff are agents of God. So when they speak, they're actually speaking on God's behalf, just like our legislature here. While they say the Queen is a figurehead, they can put all the policies and stuff they want through the legislature, but until it's signed by the Queen, God, okay, it doesn't have any force or effect. And that's basically the same thing with the President of the United States. He's playing God, because nothing that can go through the legislature it is given force or color of law until such time as the president signs off on it. So he has the final say. So he's playing God. Anyways, what this basically says is that the divine right of kings, or divine right, is a political and religious doctrine of royal and political legitimacy. Okay, so this gives the politics legitimacy. It asserts that a monarch is subject to no earthly authority, deriving the right to rule directly from the will of God. The king is thus not subject to the will of his people. Okay? Now that makes a lot of sense, because you hear every day stuff getting passed through legislatures or these talking head politicians, and people go like, these people are retarded or what? Okay? They're not doing that to help us out. They're doing the exact opposite. But they are not subject to your will. These are supposed to be governments of and by and for the people, when in fact they're not. And it's pretty plain to look at it today. I mean, before they were playing games with us, but now they're just straight in our faces. Okay? Nobody can deny that they're not doing the will of the people. Like, close the border. No, I think we'll open it wider. You know, why are you bringing all these Sharia law creeps in here? Well, we just getting started. Well, is that the will of the people? Of course it's not the will of the people. But these people aren't bound to the will of the people. And it really shows today. The aristocracy, or any other estate of the realm, including in the view of some, especially in Protestant countries, or during the reign of Henry VIII of England, the Catholic Church, it is especially favored and promoted by unjust kings, because according to the doctrine, or this doctrine, only God can judge an unjust king, not you. The doctrine implies that any attempt to depose the king or to restrict his powers runs contrary to the will of God and may constitute a sacrilegious act. It is often expressed in the phrase, by the grace of God, attached to the titles of a reigning monarch. So this is where we're at. Now, if you run through that dictionary I give you, and you throw some of these words in there, i.e. monarch, you will find that this is... we're still at Rome. You know, that old saying, all roads lead to Rome. Couldn't be more in your face. All roads do lead to Rome. All roads have always led to Rome. And that's bloody unfortunate. Now, if I can find... Where is that? Let's try here. That ain't it. I got too many things open here today. Here, let's try here. So we put, now involuntary trust, I come up with this. An involuntary trust, this is in the dictionary, it's in involuntary trust, a trust created by a court, regardless of the intent of the parties, to benefit a party that has been wrongfully deprived of its rights. That's us. Okay, and it sounds kind of like the birth certificate. Okay, and then you have constructive trust and implied trust. I mean, this is a sweet setup, this dictionary. It's really sweet, and I really encourage people to use it. So a monarch is a sole or supreme ruler, a sovereign, the highest ruler, an emperor, king, queen, prince, or chief. Geez. So I was talking to a chief over there at the Ministry of Finance today. I never heard of a chief in any ministry before. So maybe he's the monarch. I don't know. He who reigns. One superior to all others of the same kind as an oak is called monarch of the forest, yada, yada, yada. So it gives you all the other... Well, let me look up what chief says. Here's chief. Let me just... The head or leader of any body of men, a commander as of an army, a head man as a tribe, clan, family, a person of authority who directs the work of others, the principal actor or agent. So maybe that's who I was talking to today. In law, English law, from the king or sovereign is a tenure-in-chief, tenure directly from the king, highest in office or rank, principal head. But anyways, use this dictionary as much as you can because there's really interesting stuff. I don't have it all in my mind right now. Now we hear a lot about millennium. Okay, remember the what was it called? The Millennium Goals. Now this is really interesting because we know that the United Nations and their organizations and their NGOs and their financiers and Israel, because never forget, World War II was only about getting the United Nations in place and Israel in place. That's the two things that came out of World War II. That's it. But they were running on, from the UN Millennium Goals. It was being passed down in through your local level, and we even have in my little town of 7,000 people, we have a new street, and it's called Millennium Way. Now, what is this Millennium thing they're talking about? And this is really interesting because this is exactly what's going on, and this is where we better kick their butts. Okay, this is where we better kick their butts. It is, it's Latin, containing 1,000, is the belief by a religious, social, or political group or movement in a coming major transformation of society. Is that not what we see going on now? A major transformation of society? Al Gore said something like that about Christianity has destroyed the last vestiges of wasn't Wicca or whatever, of basically pagan earth worship, and that there has to be a transformation of society like the world's never seen before. Okay? And that's exactly what's going on. And after this major transformation of society, after which all things will be changed, millenarianism is a concept or theme that exists in many cultures and religions. As a specific type of Christian millenarism, and is sometimes referred to as chillism from the New Testament, use of the Greek chilla meaning 1,000. It is part of the broader form of apocalyptic expectation. The core doctrine in some variations of Christian eschatology is the expectation or the second coming, the establishment of the kingdom of God on earth. According to the interpretation of prophecies in the book of Revelation, this kingdom of God of earth will last 1,000 years or more. The application of an apocalyptic timetable to the establishment of changing of the world has happened in many cultures and religions. It continues to this day and is not related to the sects of major world religions. The terms of millenarianism and millennianism are often wrongly used interchangeably, but as Gould notes, millennium is from the Latin milli, 1,000, and annus, year, hence the two. Millennium is from the Latin containing 1,000 of anything. So, what we have here, and this is, I think, I guess I've been right all along, that I've always, for years and years, said the two things have to fall. Two things have to disappear for the United Nations and their gaggle of satanic idiots to get what they want. And one, Christianity has to disappear. That's why we have the influx of the Muslims and Islam. We have to destroy the Christian faith. And also the Constitution of the United States has to go bye-bye in order for them to get what they want. So when I say we're in a psychological spiritual war, I mean it. Somebody's going to get a grip on this for the next 1,000 years. And it's going to be them or it's going to be us. Well, if they get what they want, which is you live in a little cubbyhole by a railway track, eating what they decide to feed you, giving you as much water as they think you the particular animal, deserves, and taking away your right to travel, and basically with a death wish to get rid of, anywhere from 75% to 90% of the population, do we really want to bow down to these clowns? I think not. So we need to basically kick ass. Now, I found this also in that same dictionary I put in the chat, and I found this thing called, and some of you may know this stuff. This is new to me. The fifth monarchists. What the hell is that? Well, apparently the fifth monarchists, or fifth monarchy men, were active from 1649 to 1660 during the interim following the English civil wars of the 17th century. They took their name from a prophecy in the book of Daniel that 4 ancient monarchies, Babylon, Persian, Macedonian, and Roman, would precede the kingdom of Christ. They also referred to the year 1666, that's your old 666 there, and its relationship to the biblical number of the beast, indicating the end of earthly rule by carnal human beings. And that's what we are, okay? We're being ruled by a bunch of very nasty people. They're amoral. Their legal system is amoral. What they do to people is amoral. Okay? And basically what they're saying is that the Roman rule, okay, is coming to an end. And it is. We're witnessing that now. Okay? All of these kings and queens and monarchs and popes are all molding themselves now into the final empire, if you will, which is, whatever they want to call it, but it's all culminating and it's all emanating from the United Nations and all of their entities, which are the World Bank, which controls your money, IMF, and the FAO, which controls your food, WHO controls your health, UNESCO is in charge of your child's education. Okay, everything is coming from there, and everything's going into there. And this is the millennium goals of the next 1,000 years. So these guys, they use the Bible constantly for their own benefit. Unfortunately for the people who go to church and that, the preachers are just disinfo agents. They're working the wrong side of this thing. But once Rome falls, and we have this great transition for the next 1,000 years, it's either going to be the good guys running the show or the bad guys running the show. Well, the bad guys have been running this show through Babylon, Persia, Macedonia, and the Roman empires. And now they want to get to the next 1,000 years. And it's going to get ugly if we allow them to get their way. The fifth monarchists were one of many groups of Christian believers, and just before I go there, it was in the 1600s that and that's basically when the King James Bible came out. I think it was the 1600s, and that's when the kings in that declared themselves the agents of God. Okay, that they were the chosen ones to act in place of God, and anything that they said had to be adhered to. So then they swapped that out a little bit. It's just a rebranding process when they brought in these governments. It used to be the king was a government, and now, people are getting ticked off about that, so they hoodwink them again and give them a vote, some of them a vote, to make them feel better. But nothing changed, okay? Nothing changed at all. Anyways, the Fifth Monarchists were one of many groups of Christian believers during the and after the English Civil War whose theological beliefs challenged the more mainstream ideas of the day. Specifically, they believed in a geopolitical theory which maintained that the four world rulers had already come and gone according to the prophecies of Daniel 2 in the Old Testament. The text recounts prophets' dreams dreamt by, I can't say this guy's name. The previous empires of which he dreamed were interpreted to have been Babylonian, Persian, Grecian, and Roman, the last empire. The monarchs concluded would be the establishment by returning of Jesus as King of Kings and Lord of Lords to reign with his saints on earth for 8,000 years. The Fifth Monarchists saw themselves as those saints of that soon-to-be drawing millennium. Among prominent Fifth Monarchists were Thomas Harrison, Christopher Feek, Powell, John Carew, John Rogers, Robert Blackburn, Secretary of the Admiralty, and later of the British East India Company. So it's really interesting times that we're living in. Extremely interesting times that we're living in. And we should all embrace this. We have no reason to be in fear or anything like that. Absolutely none. We who are for the most part awake and know that there's something really smelly going on need to keep doing our research. I some days I say, okay, that's it. Research is over. I'm done. I've been at this for going on 10 years steady now. And then I get rooting around in the dictionary, and because I'm trying to get something accomplished through trying to figure out exactly how I'm gonna get at trying to find the Achilles heel of this so-called government that we are under the thumb of. So, sometimes when I'm sitting around, because I don't have TV or nothing, and when I'm not really reading articles and that, I'll just pull up a dictionary or the etymology or the KJV Bible.net, which is another fantastic search engine, because I find it rather interesting in some of the words that the legalists and that use, like legal and human and so many other words. They don't exist in the King James Bible, though this is the book that those who have us under our thumb use. I find that rather interesting. So, you can't read enough, and you can't research enough, and you can't look at enough words, because something will always, you'll hit something, you go, damn, I didn't know that. I had no idea. So, and I mean, if you look at how ludicrous this idea that the kings are in place of God, and that God somehow ordained these nut bars to be the rulers. Because if you look at history, it was a continuum of kings ousting kings all over the place. So, you say, well, okay, if the king here is the agent, the direct agent of God, the creator, so when this king gets wiped out and replaced by that king, was, the creator sitting up there going, you didn't shave today. I don't like that. So I'm going to have you whacked, and I'll put this guy in place. So he can play God now. I mean, this is right out of some fictional nonsense, and it's no more ludicrous than that Fawlty Towers movie. What What was that movie, hon? Oh, she's not here. Anyways, you know what movie I'm talking about with King Arthur and that in it. Oh, the Holy Grail. You know, that scene where the king comes. They're pretending they're riding horses. Comes into where all these peasants are, and he's saying how he became king. And the peasants are going like, "What are you, nuts?" You know, some tart, watery whatever with a sword or whatever made you boss. Well, yeah, really. And we're supposed to believe this. Well, yeah. And we're subject to you. Yeah, because I'm the king. Well, maybe we all ought to declare ourselves as kings and queens. Because apparently that's all you have to do. And then you're immune from this nonsensical system that we seem to find ourselves in. You know, so we got a lot of work to do, and we're going to get it done. And I'm just happier every day. You know, I mean, it's really funny when I can call up, you know, the chief of the Federal Ministry of Finance. And having this guy running around in circles like a chicken with his head cut off, and I don't have to even raise my voice to him. We just use logic, use history, you know, and they don't know where to go because they got nowhere to go, you know. And what really irritates me is if I hear one more person say, Fukushima's going to poison us, I'm going to find them and slap them. It ain't important. Not in the least. Oh, did you hear what Trump said the other day? I think his chances of become president are really going up. Tell those people, shut up. You know, give your head a freaking shake. Leave that world. That's noise and that's deception and that's to keep your little brain busy. You know, get your brain busy, yeah, by all means. And I know a lot of people feel, I've never felt that way. I've never felt intimidated by anybody. I will sit down and talk to a homeless man and probably have a more satisfying conversation because that homeless person probably has more on the ball than the PMs or the presidents or the Queen or the lawyers or the psychologists. You know, you know, would you bow to the Queen? No. Why would I bow to anybody? Why would I bow to anybody? Would I like to talk to the Queen? Yeah. Let's go in the kitchen and have a snack and have a chat. And there's no people just, I don't know why people feel intimidated. I've seen this all my life. You know, you pick up the frickin' phone and you call somebody. And you relay to them what you know. Okay, I got somebody calling in here, which works for me. Yeah, hi, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good.
Is this Ron?
Pardon me?
Is this Ron?
It was last time I checked.
Yeah. Hi, how are you?
Are you a collection agency?
No, I was.
Oh, okay, then I'll speak with you.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
No, I was just calling in about the show. I don't know if it's live or if it's recorded or not, but I just wanted to share some info, if that's okay.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
We're live. What's your name?
My name is Patrick.
Patrick?
Yeah.
Good to know you, Patrick. What's on your mind?
I was calling about, you were talking about the legal framework that's going on, and in terms of kings and queens. It's something that I've followed myself, you know, but I haven't put together all of the pieces on it. But one thing that I did come across that I think may possibly help It was something called the Treaty of Tordesillas.
Actually, I saw that, and I haven't looked at it yet.
So for years, I've looked at this on different angles, and what you talked about specifically rang a bell with me when you were talking about kings and queens and sovereign immunity. And so when I started looking at where different national leaders get their sovereign immunity, what I came to, I kept coming back to these three treaties, and they're basically based around three papal bulls. These are three declarations that the Pope made.
Right.
And they were all mainly in the years of 1492 to 1494.
Uh-huh.
And they dealt with the sailings of Christopher Columbus mainly. This was in a time period when explorers were setting out.
Right.
And there was the Catholic Church and the Holy Roman See legally had the two empires, Eastern Europe and Western Europe. And the only other main faction, I guess, in terms of kings and queens was Portugal, and you had Spain and the Five Blue Bloods and what have you. And so the legal framework, I think, of what you're talking about from my research started to be built around those three papal bulls. And it led to this big conference where people started disagreeing on it so much that in 1494, 2 years after the discussion and the gossip and all the arguing of Columbus and his exploits, they met to ratify all of this and work out the kinks. And this treaty basically set the legal framework that everything 300 nautical miles east, west, north, and south was now the legal province of the church.
Yeah, and that just expanded out because the Pope is classified as the Vicar of Christ, and when I was looking through some stuff actually today and last night, when I was going through this, divine right of kings, it all ties back to the Pope, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's the political system is nothing more than a ruse.
Everything that I've seen so far is based on that, all the way back from 1494.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if we take it to United States history, because I'm calling from the United States, that plays into all of the history of the natives and the indigenous, and that deals with everything in terms of land rights. If you think of the conquistadors all the way through Central and South America.
Yeah.
Right. So, with the Treaty of Tordesillas, that basically was the Pope, through papal declaration, laying economic claim to us spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
So he was making a claim and saying everything 300 nautical miles out, because it has not been legally claimed,
mm-hmm.
I'm going to put a claim to it. We have no idea what's out there, but I'm basically just claiming it under rulership of the church. And so my gathering is nobody to date in 400 or 500 some years has challenged that original legal standing.
Well, this is what I don't mean to butt in, but this is what I'm telling people now. We now that we understand most of these frauds,
yes,
is that we the people need to start claiming the land.
Yes.
Because you see, the only reason they sent the settlers over here was a claim with no possession is no claim at all. So they needed to send people over here and get them on the land, so they could have possession of it. Well, we're the ones that really have possession of it.
No, yes, I agree with you. That goes back to what you were talking about before with Roman law. That's an old Roman precept and law in terms of, possession is 9/10 of the law.
Exactly.
Right, and there are these other aspects to that old Roman law used to have, and possession was one of them, but it was one of the main ones. And if you didn't have any of these other things in terms of old, ancient legal Roman law, you could say at least I have possession. I'm physically on it, I'm guarding it, I'm protecting it, what have you. So you're totally right in that. So they send over their missionaries and they send over their different people, and they start laying legal claim to that, and nobody. Right, and so for hundreds of years, people in various different courts have challenged that. But what I started to think to myself was that everybody is totally in the wrong court, and I started to see that through the issuance of sovereign immunity, which is what you're talking about. So, for instance, we can sue here in the United States different aspects of the government, but then when you get to certain higher levels, there is this sovereign immunity. And 95% of the countries in the world have this sovereign immunity, and that goes back to treaties and declarations specifically from the Pope and the Church. Now, when you were talking about the monarchs, the fifth monarchs, and different Christian occult groups that are out there,
right.
So the Holy Roman Empire legally starts to break down, and they see this opening, and it's been decreasing every century, and they see this opening, and they see people challenging it legally, and so they see no system that is there to establish that globally or to replace that. So
I think what they're trying to replace, Patrick, is they're trying to wipe the idea of one Christianity, two religion off the map, and just because the Pope and the Queen are both corporation souls, right?
I agree.
Is that they, as Rockefeller says, something has to take the place of government. Business seems to be always on an entity to do, and we have the B Corps, which are our benefit corps and stuff like this. So it's just moving from basically a religious base to a corporate base, which is basically a new religion.
Yeah.
And if they get what they want, I found that very interesting, that fifth deal there, because this is about the next 1,000 years, and we had better pull it, right? Because it ain't going to be pretty if they get it.
Yeah, I hear you there. And it's still, the way I see it, it's still ever present across all of our politics, not just here in the States.
Oh no, it's worldwide. It's
worldwide. Yeah, it's worldwide.
Patrick, yeah. I gotta make an announcement real quick. I do a show Thursday night, same time, 7 to 8.
Okay.
And I would just love for you to call in, like when the show starts.
That sounds good.
Okay, but I got to let you go right now because I got to make an announcement. I'm doing a show tomorrow, and I'm a guest on a show tomorrow night on Revolution Radio, Studio A, from 8 till 10. A gentleman out of Texas who I've talked to before, really good guy. Mm-hmm. We don't agree on everything, which we're not supposed to. But I think there's 2 ladies coming on the show as well. One was a cop and is now a teacher, and apparently she blew the whistle and was forced to resign from being a policeman. And I don't know, it's going to be a weird show because some of this stuff is going to be pretty strange to me.
Yeah,
so
nice.
I'm kind of looking forward just for a change of pace.
Yeah.
No, if you sound like you really got your stuff together, Patrick. So if you care to. Thursday night, 7 to 8, same place here. Please call in, and I will do some more. I'll look at those treaties and stuff in the meantime. And
okay, that sounds good. I'll touch base with you on Thursday, and we'll keep in touch and we'll exchange notes and see where this plays out.
Yeah, I really appreciate the call.
Okay, well, you take care.
It wasn't vote Trump. No.
Okay.
That was very enjoyable. So I thank you very much for that.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot. You have a good one.
All right. You too.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
And that's what we need more of, people. Is that kind of stuff. So I hope Patrick calls back on Thursday. But in the meantime, I got to do a show tonight at 8 to 10 on Revolution Radio, Studio A.
Selling lies and buying time, killing people.
Thanks for tuning in. I love you guys.
They don't matter, genocide. Sick from water, sick from air.
Patrick is very articulate. So, yeah.
It's only what they want. They shoot, they kill, they massacre, rape, they burn the kids. No one makes countries. Lie to your face.